For the longest time, whenever I heard the phrase virtual event, I I had this very specific, very visceral reaction. I just kind of sighed.
Hmm.
It felt like a bandage, right? Like that thing we all had to do because we literally couldn't be in the same room.
Oh, totally. It was the vegetable lasagna of the fundraising world.
Yes.
You eat it because it's there and you're hungry. And frankly, you don't have another choice. But let's be honest, you're sitting there dreaming about the stick the whole time.
That is a painfully accurate metaphor.
Yeah.
I think we all ate a lot of vegetable lasagna over the last few years. But here's the thing, and this is exactly why we're here today. The script has completely flipped.
It really has.
We aren't in that emergency mode anymore, yet virtual events haven't gone away. If anything, the data shows they're getting bigger, smarter, and honestly, much more profitable.
That's the reality. I mean, what started as a necessity has evolved into a full-blown revolution. We're seeing a fundamental shift in how charities operate, how they find donors, and how they actually keep the lights on.
So it's not about surviving anymore.
No, it's no longer about surviving until we can get back to the ballroom. It's about realizing the ballroom might have been holding us back the whole time.
That is a bold claim. The ballroom was holding us back. Okay, so today we are doing a deep dive into the world of virtual fundraising events. And I want to be clear. We're not talking about awkward Zoom calls where everyone freezes or talks over each other and you're staring at someone's ceiling fan.
No, not at all. We are talking about high production galas, hybrid auctions, and tools that can literally supersede live events in terms of revenue.
Exactly. And we're pulling these insights from a massive collection of resources, specifically looking at the data, the courses, and checklists available from Nonprofit.Courses.
Which brings us to our mission for this deep dive.
We want to uncover why this shift is permanent, how you can use it to beat your fundraising goals, and exactly which tools you need to pull it off.
And look, we're going to throw a lot of resources at you today.
We are. So if you want to actually see the courses, the checklists, the how-to guides we are discussing, you should head over to nonprofit.courses.com.
Seriously, bookmark that, nonprofit.courses.com. It's where the rubber meets the road for everything we're about to discuss.
Okay, let's unpack this revolution concept, because I think a lot of people, maybe even some listening right now, still have that classic party mindset. You know, the gala, the rubber chicken dinner, the silent auction tables. People like those parties. They like dressing up. So why fix what isn't broken?
Because it is broken, or at least it's severely limited by physics. I call it the classic party problem.
Okay, play devil's advocate here. What's the fundamental flaw of a fancy gala?
Geography. It's simple physics. A classic party is localized. You have to be near the venue to attend.
Right.
You have to put on a suit or a dress, get a babysitter, drive to the hotel, fight for parking. That immediately limits your pool of donors to people within, say, a 20-mile radius who happen to be free on that specific Saturday night.
And who have the patience for small talk and hotel parking garages.
Precisely. But virtual events, they shatter those geographic boundaries. The source material emphasizes this heavily. Virtual events allow anyone with an internet connection to attend.
And it's not just about distance, is it? It's about accessibility in a much broader sense.
Absolutely. You mean like mobility issues?
Yeah, or just life.
Exactly. Think about your older donors who might not want to drive at night. Or think about lifestyle accessibility, the donor who loves your cause but travels for work. Or the supporter who has young kids and simply cannot do a night out without paying a fortune for childcare.
Right.
When you move online, you are exponentially expanding your reach. You're inviting the world, not just the neighborhood.
That makes total sense regarding reach.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine there's a massive financial argument here, too. I mean, I've planned a wedding before. Renting a ballroom is not cheap.
It's incredibly expensive. Then this is the financial aha moment for a lot of nonprofit boards. When you host a physical event, a huge chunk of the ticket price goes to overhead.
Like what? Venue rental, catering?
Venue rental, catering, printing programs, travel costs, valet. It literally eats away at the funds raised.
So you're raising money to pay for the party to raise the money.
It's a circular economy of canapes. But with a virtual event, those costs they vanish or are significantly reduced. You don't need to feed 500 people filet mignon. You don't need to rent a hotel ballroom with a crystal chandelier. That means the savings go directly to the mission. The ROI, that's return on investment, is often so much higher because the overhead is so much lower.
Okay, so we have reach and we have cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
But there was a third point in the research that I found really fascinating, and it was about data.
Ah, yes.
Because in a real room, you can't really track people, can you? I mean, not without being totally creepy.
Right. In a physical ballroom, you don't know who looked at the silent auction item but didn't bid. You don't know who left early because they were bored.
You don't know who read the program and who used it as a coaster.
Exactly. But online, you have incredible analytics.
It's like the Matrix. You see everything.
You do. Platforms can tell you exactly when people logged on, how long they stayed, what they clicked on, and what donation patterns emerged. The sources mention that you can analyze this data on the spot.
But here's my question. What do you actually do with that info? Having a spreadsheet of clicks is nice, but does it translate to money?
Oh, yeah. If you use it right, yes, you personalize the follow-up. That is the key insight here.
Personalize how?
You can contact supporters directly based on their behavior during the event. Hey, I saw you were looking at the vacation package but didn't bid. Or, we noticed you stayed for the whole keynote regarding our water project.
Oh, I see.
It allows for a much more targeted relationship building strategy than just sending a generic thank you for attending letter to everyone.
That is a game changer. It moves it from a party to a data-driven campaign. Oh. But let's talk about the what. Because if we aren't doing the rubber chicken dinner, what are we doing? The sources list a whole menu of formats.
It's a buffet of options, really. You have your virtual galas, which are essentially live streams with entertainment and speakers. Think of it like a telethon, but modern.
Right.
You have online auctions and raffles. You have peer-to-peer challenges, which are huge on social media.
And then there's this concept of the hybrid event. Now, I have to be honest, hybrid sounds like a buzzword.
It does a bit, yeah.
And it also sounds like a logistical nightmare to manage. You're trying to please two audiences at once.
It is difficult, I won't lie, but the experts argue it's the holy grail if you pull it off. A hybrid event is described as a nice mix of both worlds. Imagine you have that traditional live gala for your VIPs or locals who really crave that face-to-face connection.
The big donors who want to be seen?
Exactly. But simultaneously, you are streaming the program to an online audience.
So you aren't forcing people to choose.
Exactly. You cater to the extroverts who want to mingle and the introverts who want to support you from their couch. Plus, you're hitting multiple time zones.
That's a huge point.
Yeah. If you're a national or international charity, a hybrid model is almost mandatory now. You can't expect your donor in London to fly to Seattle for dinner, but they might tune in online.
One specific strategy that caught my eye in the reading was about auctions. I always thought an auction had to be live, right? Like the auctioneer is yelling, going once, going twice, and it's over in 5 minutes.
Well, that's the old way. The source material suggests something different.
Which is?
In the digital age, you don't have to wait for the event to start. You can open bidding weeks in advance.
Oh, that's dangerous for my wallet. But I see the strategy.
It's great for the charity. By the time the actual event starts, you already have momentum. You already have revenue locked in. And because the bidding is on a mobile device, it's open to the people in the room and the people at home simultaneously.
Oh, that's smart.
It creates this massive competitive pool of bidders that you just can't replicate with a paper bid sheet on a table where you have to physically walk over to check if you've been outbid.
I love that. It turns the fundraising into a campaign, not just a 3-hour window. Speaking of campaigns, let's talk about pre-event engagement, because the sources were pretty clear on this. If you just send an invite and wait for the day of, you've already lost.
100%. That's the old way. The new way is to build a narrative before the doors, virtual or physical, even open.
So you're warming them up.
You're warming them up and you're building a community. The sources suggest using webinars, panel discussions, or social media challenges to interact with the audience beforehand.
Why does that work?
Think about it. If you can get people engaged in a discussion about your mission 2 weeks before the gala, they are far more likely to show up and donate during the main event. It guarantees a larger turnout because they're already invested in the conversation.
They feel like insiders.
Exactly.
Okay, but here's the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the Zoom, I guess. Zoom fatigue.
It is real.
Oh, it's very real. We've all been there. You log onto a virtual event, and 10 minutes in, you're checking your email, you're making a sandwich, you're petting the cat. How do we stop people from zoning out?
That is the million-dollar question. And the answer comes down to execution. You cannot just point a camera at a stage and expect people to watch for 2 hours.
Right. It's not Netflix. They aren't binge-watching a drama.
It has to be interactive. The sources recommend using polls, FAQs, and live chats constantly. You have to make the audience feel like participants, not just spectators.
And crucially, you have to fix the pacing.
Right. Short and sweet. Much tighter than a physical event. You don't have the luxury of people being trapped at a dinner table where social pressure keeps them seated.
That's true.
If you bore them online, they will close the tab. So keep it moving and throw in surprise elements.
The sources mention unboxing experiences. I love this idea because it bridges that digital gap. Can you explain how that works in practice?
Yeah, it's a great way to bring the physical back into the virtual. You send a physical package, a Gala box, to your attendees' homes before the event.
What's in it?
Maybe it has a bottle of wine, some artisan snacks, a program, or a prop related to the mission.
So everyone opens it together on camera.
Exactly. It creates a shared tactile experience. Suddenly, we aren't just isolated faces on a screen. We're all sharing a drink or a snack together at the same moment.
It grounds the virtual experience in reality.
It does. It engages the senses beyond just sight and sound.
That is so smart. It brings back that sensory element we miss. But amidst all these bells and whistles, the boxes, the polls, the apps, the expert advice in the text had a very strong warning. Don't let the tech overshadow the purpose.
Storytelling is still central. You can have the slickest technology in the world, the best mobile bidding app, the coolest unboxing, but if you don't explicitly show whose lives are being helped, wallets stay closed.
Right.
You have to personalize the cause, show the faces, tell the stories. The tech is just the delivery mechanism. The story is the product.
And the event doesn't end when the stream stops, does it?
Never. The post-event virtual follow-up is crucial. Send a digital replay, send a behind-the-scenes tour of your facility. Keep that momentum going while the emotion is still high.
Okay, this is all great strategy, but I want to get practical. I'm the kind of person who likes to know, what buttons do I push? What software do I buy?
Sure.
Because frankly, doing a virtual event sounds technically intimidating.
It can be. But the source material from Nonprofit.Courses was absolutely loaded with specific tools to solve specific problems.
So let's do a toolkit segment. But I don't want a boring list. I'm going to throw a scenario at you, a problem I'm having, and you tell me what tool the experts recommend to fix it.
I like it. Let's do it.
Scenario 1. I want to host a massive interactive session. I'm talking hundreds, maybe thousands of people. I need polls, I need chat, I need high energy. I tried doing this on a regular meeting app and it crashed. What am I using?
You're looking at Webinar Jam. The sources highlight it because it's built specifically for live interactive sessions with large numbers. It handles the bandwidth for the chat, the polls, all that high engagement stuff that crashes standard meeting software.
Okay, scenario 2. I want to cheat a little. I want it to look live, but I want to pre-record it to make sure nothing goes wrong.
Ah, the simulated live.
Yes. I want to broadcast it to people in different time zones without me having to be awake at 3 a.m. to host it.
Then you want EverWebinar. It simulates a live experience. You broadcast pre-recorded content, but it has features like chat simulation, so it feels happening now. It's perfect for reaching global audiences around the clock while you sleep.
Nice. Okay, scenario 3. The backbone of the operation. I need to manage my donors. I need to know who gave what, when they gave it. And I need those automated insights we talked about earlier.
That's your CRM, customer relationship management. The big name mentioned here is Bloomerang. It's designed specifically for nonprofits to manage complex donor relationships and retention. It helps you stop donors from slipping through the cracks.
And for the actual donation page, if I want that dopamine hit of seeing a progress bar go up.
GiveWP. It's a plugin, very popular for donation management. It enables smart mobile bidding and, yes, those visual progress bars.
I love a progress bar. Seeing that thermometer go up is so satisfying.
It's psychological. It motivates donors to be the one who pushes it to the next milestone. It turns giving into a group achievement.
Okay, next scenario. The boring stuff. Invoices, registrations, membership databases, the paperwork that usually drives nonprofit staff crazy.
And keeps them from actually fundraising.
Yes.
Wild Apricot. It's an all-in-one event and member management tool. It automates the invoices, the registrations. It basically acts as your administrative assistant so you can focus on the mission.
Now let's talk auctions. You mentioned mobile bidding is key. What platform handles that?
DonorBox is a robust platform mentioned for this. It handles seamless bidding and immediate revenue processing. And that immediate part is key. You want that money in the bank fast, not chasing pledges for weeks.
And the sources also pointed to some specific advice on auctions, right? Not just software, but strategy.
Yes. Red Apple Auctions. They aren't just a platform. The source material lists them as a resource for deep advice. They have content on mobile bidding gripes and hybrid strategies.
So they help you avoid the pitfalls.
Exactly. If you're planning an auction, their insights seem invaluable for avoiding common mistakes that lose you money.
That's good to know. Now, content. I need to make this look good. I can't just use a webcam in a dark room. I need video. I need stories.
Content is king. Video is suggested for creating that high-quality, pre-recorded content, the mission stories, the testimonials. You don't need a Hollywood studio. Tools like this make video creation accessible for regular people.
And getting the word out. If people can't find me, they can't donate. How do I get found on Google?
SEMrush. This is interesting because it's usually seen as a corporate SEO, that's search engine optimization tool. But for nonprofits, it's powerful. It helps you find keywords to ensure your cause stands out to potential donors who are searching online.
That is smart. And if I need to blast a message to everyone, auction ending in 10 minutes. Get your bids in.
Dial my calls, mass texting and calling, great for urgent reminders or volunteer alerts.
And finally, publicity. I want the world to know about my event, not just my mailing list.
24/7 press release. It's exactly what it sounds like. A service to announce your events to a wider audience, which can lead to more competitive bidding and brand awareness outside your usual circle.
It's amazing how specialized these tools have become. It's not just use Excel and hope for the best anymore.
No, and that's why the training is so important. The source material actually highlights specific lessons available. For example, there's a course from Utopia Experience on how to plan successful breakout rooms.
Breakout rooms can be a nightmare if you don't manage them right. Dead silence is the enemy.
Exactly. And Community Boost has strategies specifically for thanking your donors. It sounds simple, but there's an art to it.
Oh, for sure.
And QGIF has creative ways to transform peer-to-peer events.
It really shows that you don't have to figure this out alone. The roadmap is there.
That's the biggest takeaway for me. The tools exist, the strategies are proven. It's just a matter of adoption. It's about shifting your mindset from, we can't do this, to what tool do we need to do this?
So bringing this all together, we've gone from virtual events are a vegetable lasagna to virtual events are a powerhouse.
That's the summary. They are a revolutionary way to complement, augment, or even supersede live events. They offer limitless possibilities for revenue because they remove the friction of attendance.
It's about meeting people where they are.
Literally. By removing physical borders, even a small local charity can now have a global footprint. You are no longer defined by your zip code.
That is a powerful thought. You know, we usually end with a takeaway, but I think today the takeaway is really a challenge.
I agree. The question I would pose to every listener, whether you run a nonprofit, sit on a board, or just volunteer, is this.
What's it at?
If your event isn't limited by the four walls of a ballroom, who is the new audience you haven't even tried to talk to yet?
That gives me chills. There's a whole world out there waiting to hear your story.
There is. You just have to turn on the camera.
Well, I am certainly feeling inspired to go log on and start planning. Before we sign off, I want to remind you one last time. We threw a lot of tool names and strategies at you today.
We did.
If you want to dive deeper into these tools, take the free courses we mentioned, or just see the resources for yourself, go to Nonprofit.Courses.com.
Nonprofit.Courses.com. Do not miss it.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.
Goodbye, everyone.